Okay, we all here? Good.
We're here.
All right, awesome. So we are here tonight to go over the new consultant training guide to get you new girls off to a quick and healthy, fast start. And so what me and Natalie and Kelsie are going to do are go over each of these slides, and I'm going to pretend like none of you are staring at me right now because I can see your eyes on me out the corner of my eye. So if you have any questions while we're going over this, even if you're listening to the recording, just jot down some questions and circle back with your trainer, and she can answer those questions for you. So we are going to start off with Natalie going over our first 10 slides. So Natalie, go ahead and take it away, and I will try my best to follow along with you with these slides.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Hey guys, I'm Natalie. I'm just going to go through the beginning of these slides, and I think it'll be helpful. One of us might jump in at something, maybe we took away from this, which is kind of a learning experience for all of us. I think it'll be a good thing. So basically, I'm sure you've all been emailed by one of your consultants the Team Give Handbook, which we kind of call our Bible. It has a lot of great information right at our fingertips. A lot of times you might have a question that actually you can access very quickly through the Team Give Handbook. So I go back to this all the time, practically every day. We also have a 14-day checklist that your sponsor will go through with you. It's kind of, it's basically self-explanatory. It's a great checklist for the first 14 days of your business to kind of keep you at a good pace, the pace that you're wanting to go through. And then some of you might have gone to your Pulse website by now, but this is something that, I don't know, Megan, if you were wanting us to go into detail this day, but it's something your sponsor should walk you through of how to use your Pulse site.
Mm-hmm.
Next. Can you hit next, or do I?
Next, right here. There we go.
Okay, the next one is the power of your why. This one, I can't stress enough, is super important. For me, in the beginning, it was kind of a little scary, to be that vulnerable and kind of tell my story of how I got here. But I think, sometimes you get in your head like comparing your story to other people's, but the bottom line is just be genuine to yourself and why you're here, what this business means for you. And at the end of the day, it's what's going to keep you motivated and keep you going, because you're going to have tough days and you have to fall back on that why of why you join in the first place and how you're going to get to where you want to be eventually. But this helps you develop, your smaller why helps you develop into your short story and your long-term goals. And it kind of changes as your business grows. Your why is naturally going to change as well.
Yeah, and your why and your story are two different things. So your why is what got you started in the business for different reasons. And then it continues to change as you go. And so your why is why you started and what keeps you going. And your story is your background of what led you there. And the story of your business from the beginning to where you are now. So the two of them work together when you first reach out to somebody and they say, well, and that's a question that we hear all the time, well, why did you start doing this? Two people asked me that today. And you give them that short answer, and that really creates interest. And it's something that you definitely want to work on and perfect so that you're not stumbling over your words. If you listen to Emily or Ashley on a training call, they have their why down. And when their why changes, they'll change what they're saying. But you know what their why is, and They make it very clear, and they really create interest with their why. And a lot of people's are different, but you can find a common relatability. And a lot of people say, your why should make you cry. And it's not always the case. Your why isn't always going to make you cry. And some people are more emotional than others. But for a lot of people, it's finding that emotional connection to why you started this business in the first place.
Okay, so the next one is making your list and creating that sense of urgency. I think most of you kind of got a step one from your sponsor about creating a list of everyone you know. And I know at first I was like, okay, well, I'm maybe not going to include this person. And we kind of have a tendency to naturally want to prejudge, when really we shouldn't, because we don't know what this opportunity can do for someone else. Somebody might be looking for something, whether it's financial or just, a business that they can have for their own self-fulfillment. So we really shouldn't prejudge at all who we want on that list. It talks about going back to that wedding list, Christmas card list. Really, like, the goal for me was to try to hit 300. And I kept going back to that list. Like, I still go back to that list. Adding people that I maybe didn't think of before, new contacts, or, a friend of a friend that you may have met somewhere and didn't think about them originally. Your list just keeps going. And then on that list, we talk about a top 8 dream team. So this could be people that you want to do this business alongside of, that you think, will be successful, and just the top 8 people that you really want to do this with. We also talk about a dirt list in the beginning, and this is, people like your mom or your best friend, somebody that would do anything for you because they love you. We tend to get these people on 3-way calls in the beginning. It's a great way to learn as new consultants. I don't know if Meghan or Kelsie, you had anything to add to some of those lists.
On the memory jogger and Pulse, if you go to your Pulse website, it's in the biz library, and you open it and it has just columns of different categories of people that help you remember people who you may not have a phone number for, or Facebook friends with, or went to your wedding or anything like that. So it has, like, just the one that I always remember is bald people. Like, anybody that you've ever known who's bald, who needs sunscreen for their bald head. Like, that's the one that I remember the most. But there's all sorts of categories, and like your elementary school teachers, and like Natalie said, like a friend of a friend. Like, my husband knows basically everyone in the entire world, so he expands my network even further to people that I wouldn't originally think of. And that's why a lot of consultants actually tag their husbands in their posts, because that then puts that on his Facebook page as well, and so all of his friends can see it too.
And then one thing I want to add, it's down on the bottom at the slide. I'm glad that you brought that up, Meghan, because I was actually going to say that. But, you start expanding your network of people. And, Rodan & Fields is a great company. And at some point, someone, if not all the people in your network, is going to hear about Rodan & Fields. And they're going to be given that opportunity to, to either join the business or to try out these great and amazing products. So wouldn't you want to be the person that tells them about it and can be that person for them? Because if it's not you, it's going to be someone else at some point.
And even if they don't join you right then, when you bring it up, at least you are their first point of contact.
Yeah.
So when they hear about it later, they see someone else join and be like, oh yeah, Meghan brought this up to me 3 months ago, and they'll circle back with you. And they'll remember their first point of reference.
We get a lot of referrals through that too, even if it's not just for them, that opens a whole nother list of people like, hey, maybe you know somebody that really could benefit from this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So your story, I think Meghan kind of did a good explanation about your story of how you got here. It's kind of the longer version of your why. That's how I think of it. You know, maybe your background prior to joining this company, you know, what you did career-wise or personally. It's kind of how you were introduced to Rodan and Fields, what impressed you most about the company, your results that you experienced by using the product. Some people were former preferred consultants, and they can, you know, talk about that in their story. For me, it wasn't. I had different reasons of starting, so everyone's story is very to them, but it's important to, you know, let your target audience know what it is, because that's how they're going to relate to you. Okay, so reaching out to your network. You will probably hear this acronym a lot. I've already heard a lot in some of our like national calls. It's called TINY, their interests, not yours. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is, you know, sometimes we get wrapped up into our story and what this means for us, but really when we're talking to, you know, potential preferred customer or consultant, like this is about them and what we have to offer them and how it fits their lifestyle. I'm kind of moving away from children.
And while you do that, there's something else where when you get on a three-way call, once you are running these three-way calls or you're listening in on a three-way call, usually someone who is conducting the three-way call will say, okay, so what brought you on this phone call? Like what caused interest for you, so that you know that you need to focus your language to what they have interest in and what really piqued their interest. So if they say, you know, I need something for to pay my mortgage, then you focus on the financial side of how great it is. Or if someone says, you know, I just need something for me, you say, you know, there's a great team camaraderie, there's a lot of support, you know, things like that. So you always want to focus on what they're looking for and not specifically what you were looking for at that time.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Did you talk about the 532?
No.
Okay, so this is kind of our daily formula, how we tackle every day. You'll see that a lot in our threads on our team pages. The goal is always to reach out to 5 new people on your list, follow up with 3 people that you've reached out to in the past, and just checking in with 2 of your team members or preferred customers. You know, I'll talk to Meghan on a daily basis, or one of my consultants. Just touching base kind of keeps us all, you know, focused on our goals. And then the last one is to close 2 to 3 new business partners per month is always the goal.
And then on the right-hand side, it's interesting because, and it's kind of cut off, but this is the average of people in the direct sales market. So this is how many people receive a purchase or something like that in each of these contacts. So only 2% of people in the first contact is going to make a purchase or make a sale. And you can see all the way down, it only grows. And percentage of directs, or the number of sales made. And I'm trying to see. Yeah. So 80% of the contacts made after the 12th contact results in a sale, and then it goes up to 95%. And the majority of people give up after 2 follow-ups or 2 contacts. So that's where we are different, where it says, over here on the left, where we don't want to harass people and we don't want to put people off. And it's not that you're reaching out every single day for 6 months. It's you reach out once, and then if you don't hear back, you reach out a week or 2 later, and it continually grows with like space in between. But you don't want to just cut somebody off because they go through you one time. It's all about the follow-up and the continual reach outs and things like that.
So I think some of this reach out language is super helpful, especially in the beginning. I know I didn't know how to, initiate that first conversation. So I think some of this verbiage is very helpful. I still go back to it. How you would approach someone if this is, a close friend, or if it's somebody, a friend of a friend. You kind of approach those people differently. So, I'm not going to read per word, you can read that on your own, but I think this is an important slide to highlight when you're doing those initial contacts.
Yeah, especially when you're new and you're, still developing your why and, things like that, and how to talk to people. And I think this is a great start, a great base of something that you can work with and tweak to make your own when you're reaching out to your friends and family. And then, when your network of people broaden and you start reaching out to people that maybe you haven't talked to in the, recent timeline, this is something that will help you know how to reach out to them.
Yeah, and I think just keeping it, to feel like yourself. Like, don't ever send something if you're questioning it, like, that does not sound like me at all, then don't send it. I would individualize it to make it feel like my own.
Because people are going to know. They're like, Meghan does not say things like girl and like, stuff like that. Like, some people do, I don't. And people would be like, dude, no. Like, you're acting like somebody else other than you.
Okay, I'm working. Go to bed.
And sorry if you guys can see this. I know we're going to be on here for more than 8 minutes. And this is so unprofessional. I'm so sorry. All right, I'll deal with that later, I guess. Okay.
So this is more just reach out language. This is an extension of the last slide. Reaching out to people who've seen some of your posts on Facebook, or just different. They're all different styles of how you might want to reach out to somebody. Opportunity calls. I really love these. These are good ways to, I use them a lot for kind of a second contact, somebody who's shown interest and wants to hear more, maybe somebody else's story. This one on the left-hand side with Jen and Jamie is really good. Just kind of goes through, the business, the products, the press, the opportunity, and goes through their story. And I think it's another great way for somebody to dial in completely anonymously. It's pre-recorded training calls, really, and it's a great way to get more information in their hands.
And if there's a man who has interest, they have the men's opportunity calls, which may kind of more geared towards what men think and how they think, where it's going to be focused on the background of like the business and the profit margins and stuff like that. Whereas women, we relate more on an emotional level, where we're going to hear about how it affected our families and our our self-esteem and the products did this and things like that. So they're definitely geared to two different types of people, and we have options for both.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more than just these two. Like I know for me, when I first joined, I think maybe Megan, you sent me something geared towards nurses. There's ones geared towards teachers. So it's great to pre-listen to some of these and send them, if you are in contact with a teacher or something, send her something that she could really relate to. Three-way calls. I'm sure you guys have all heard of these already, or you might have even done some of them. Usually the goal is to try to get 3 in your first or second week, and really it continues throughout. So I send 3-way calls to Megan. Megan still brings 3-way calls to Ashley. This is a great way in the beginning to learn. This is how our training is done. And it's being new, it's a good way you can you don't have to say anything. And, for Nadia, you would just be able to listen to Megan talk about the business, the products, the press, the opportunity. These calls always kind of go in that same order. So just hearing the information over and over, the repetition really helps. And it's nice to also bring in a third party, completely unbiased. They have no emotional attachment to you. And just for that person on the phone to hear somebody else's story and what brought them here. It's a great way to close calls as well.
No, that's good. And then Kelsie, you are up. And I know it only says we have 4 minutes left, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to continue this along for all of us. So if we need to cut it and then regroup, we can just send these other girls both the links, which might be our best option, but I'll let you all know in 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Kelsie. Megan is actually my cousin. I am on Megan's team and Natalie's team as well. We are now talking on inviting language, and you'll have to forgive me. I like to use a lot of hand gestures, and I get kind of awkward when I talk, so I'll do the best I possibly can. But when you're inviting your friends and family in your network to join 3-way calls, the best way to go about it first thing is just to be genuine. Just be yourself when you're inviting them. Don't approach it in a business matter. For example, if you're able to be like, hey, so-and-so, I was wondering if you could do this call with me, this training call with me for my business, blah, 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 blah. That's not always the best way to approach it. If you approach it in a way that, you're like, hey, so-and-so, I'm just trying to get as much training done as I can, and it would be so great if you could do me this favor. I would really appreciate it. Just, again, being genuine. In the Team Give handbook, there's a bunch of different examples that you can use to implement as far as inviting people. There's one actually shown right here on the slide. Go ahead and read that if you'd like to. If you want to do a mass invitation, the answer is no. You absolutely cannot do a mass invite via text, via email, Facebook, I don't care what it is. You absolutely cannot do that, because going back to what I said before, it is not genuine. And nobody wants to get a mass text saying, hey, can you do me this solid or whatever? No, because it's not genuine and it's not personal. So in all your invitations, whether it be for your BBL, for training calls, or products, and can't remember the other word. Anyways, it doesn't matter what it is. Just always be genuine in your invitations.
Hey, Kels, okay, this might cut out on us. So if it does, I'm going to send you guys a new link, if that's cool. I'm so sorry about this. I'm still learning. So we're going to pause, and I'm going to try and figure this out and send you guys a new one.
Done.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.